What is up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Fire Sports Takes podcast. Welcome to the LeBron James special. We're talking LeBron today. We're talking LeBron. We got to talk LeBron every now and again, man. He is, at worst, a top 2 basketball player in the history of the world. Around this time last year, I think I had an episode where I got into the GOAT debate. And it's hard to go. You know my stance on the GOAT debate. Whichever player's edits I have seen more recently, that's the player I think is the GOAT. I think it's preposterous to imply that one player is for sure better than the other. Both guys have an argument, without a shadow of a doubt. LeBron James, yes, he doesn't have the record in the finals, but he was way more dominant in the Eastern Conference throughout his career than Michael Jordan was. Well, Michael Jordan also didn't play Kyle Lowry and DeMar DeRozan in the Eastern Conference. He had to play the bad boy Pistons and Larry Bird and the Celtics, right? But Michael Jordan didn't have to play Curry, KD, Clay, Draymond, 4 first ballot Hall of Famers on the same team, by the way, in the NBA Finals. So there's a little bit you got to give and you got to get. If you're a LeBron guy and you're a Jordan guy, that's fine. But you have to understand the nuance to the argument, and that is Jordan. Yes, the main argument is Jordan didn't win a lot of games without Pippen. Well, Jordan played Larry fucking Bird in the Eastern Conference in the 80s. Larry Bird and the Celtics, the bad boy Pistons. LeBron James played Paul George and Lance Stevenson, DeMar DeRozan, and Kyle Lowry. Okay? And then an old Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett, etc. Nasty, though, by the way. I'm not discrediting anything LeBron did. He was also on a super team. Michael Jordan never left Chicago to join a super team. Just saying. So, there's nuance to it. You can go both ways. But there has been a narrative suggesting that LeBron James's time in LA was unsuccessful because he won a ring in the bubble. I would argue there have been more fraudulent championships recently in terms of injury luck. The Boston Celtics in 2024 were terrific, but they played in an Eastern Conference where the Bucks didn't have Giannis, Dame, or Middleton, where the Heat didn't have Jimmy Butler, the Cavs lost Donovan Mitchell, the Pacers lost Tyrese Halliburton. There weren't that many big injuries in the bubble. That being said, obviously Jimmy Butler, or Bam Adebayo, Goran Dragic, who was huge for the Heat in 2020 in the bubble. They did get hurt in that final series. There were some injuries, like Gordon Hayward. There were some injuries. But I feel like there's a bigger asterisk on an NBA Finals run if half the league was hurt. Like the year the Bucks won, you could argue is fraudulent because Kyrie Irving got undercut by Giannis in Game 3, and James Harden was playing on one hamstring. And Kevin Durant was still able to will that Nets team to overtime in Game 7 without Kyrie Irving, without James Harden fully even 50%. He couldn't move. James Harden could not run. You could argue that if the Nets were healthy, they win that championship. So the Bucks ring is fraudulent. Like there's a million different nitpicky things you can do on a team that won a championship. And I feel like the bubble was like the least nitpicky besides, it was in Disneyland. Like, who cares? A lot of the teams were healthy. Unless my memory's telling us I'm totally missing out on something. A lot of the teams were healthy. Was Kawhi healthy? Yeah, Kawhi lost to the Clippers. I'm pretty sure it was Kawhi lost to the Mavericks. Luka Doncic, game-winning 3. So, I'm not the biggest LeBron guy, but you can't sit here and say that LeBron's time in LA was fraudulent when he made a handful of conference finals, made the playoffs pretty much every year, and won a championship. And if you think the bubble championship is fraudulent, you are simply a LeBron hater. You are a hater. Shout out LeVar Ball. Back in my heyday, he would need help. Even when I lose, I win. How could you say tonight was successful? Big Baller Brand up 12%. Even when I lose, I win. LeBron James's time in LA was fine. Success. Won a championship. Got carried by Anthony Davis. That could be an argument I'd entertain. Wasn't the best player on that championship team in LA, Anthony Davis was more impactful to the Lakers winning that championship than LeBron James was, I wouldn't be mad at that take. Now, that's a take I wouldn't be mad at because AD was on a different level in that playoff series or in that bubble run. Different level. Could you also make the argument? And I did see, I think it was Big Cat, Dan Katz said this, and Dan Cat, he was on the complete opposite side of this argument. He was like, oh, yeah. Well, he's a LeBron hater certified. And he's like, that's an asterisk bubble. You could argue Anthony Davis was fully healthy because he was playing in a bubble, wasn't traveling. And I don't know if that has anything to do with injuries or not, whatever. I don't buy into that, but that is an argument you can make. LeBron James, at the worst, second best player in the history of the NBA. Nobody has had consistently carry worse teams to greater heights than LeBron James has. And if Kyrie Irving never got in his feelings for whatever reason he got in his feelings for and left Cleveland, I think they would have had a few more championships in Cleveland. The fact that he got them back to the finals multiple times post Kyrie, imagine if Kyrie hung around. Imagine if Kyrie didn't get hurt in 2015? So fuck Kyrie Irving for that, because LeBron and Kyrie could have genuinely been one of the greatest duos in NBA history. Kyrie Irving could have still ascended into the Batman role with LeBron James also on the squad. Like, they could have had two Batmans. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to have a Batman and a Superman. It doesn't always have to be a Batman and Robin. And I understand LeBron was like that, but I'm talking like if Kyrie stayed in Cleveland now, like through 2020, 2021, because he was obviously never like 2018. LeBron might have been the greatest player I've ever seen, right? So he's never gonna be Batman and Batman with that version of LeBron. But hypothetically, if they thugged it out and they were buddy buddy and they were kumbaya, LeBron probably stays in Cleveland the rest of his career, and Kyrie probably ascends to what he was in Boston, what he was in Brooklyn. And people forget how nasty. I'm pretty sure he had a 50, 40, 90 season in Brooklyn. Like, he was peak. He was disgusting. COVID. Didn't want to get a vaccine, which is his right. Like, I'm not going to rip on the guy for that. That's his right. A little bit fucking annoying that you have a team that is second in the Eastern Conference with him playing 10% of the games. And when Kevin Durant gets hurt, the team's all of a sudden eighth in the conference and we're in the play-in game. Yeah, that's fucking annoying. I'm not disputing that. And if Kyrie got the shot, they probably would have been a top 5 team in the East. Wouldn't have had to play the Celtics in the round one. And yes, they did get swept, but almost every single one of those games was down to the wire. And Jason Tatum had a bullfuck spinny layup with a second to go. Either way, I'm getting into it with the Nets. I'm getting emotional. But the point is, if Kyrie and LeBron stayed in Cleveland for the durations of their career, we could have gotten to like the early 2020s, and we're looking at Kyrie starting to finally take that step where he's the better player on the court than LeBron James. And LeBron was still terrific in like 2021, 2022, 23. But there was regression. It wasn't 2018 LeBron, and Kyrie Irving was never going to be the best player on that team with 2018 LeBron. So if he stayed the course, maybe we see him ascend. And while we see this LeBron James regression that was bound to happen because he looked like the greatest player in the history of the game, maybe we could have seen Kyrie been the guy and LeBron been the secondary scorer, and everything would have been all great. And I'm just saying, I'm not speaking for Kyrie, but it seemed like he wanted to be the guy. That's what the whole thing was. He wanted to be the guy, and we couldn't be the guy. He couldn't. But the main purpose of today's episode is to talk about what is next for LeBron James. What are the best moves for LeBron James this offseason? There's a few scenarios that we are going to run through. Number 5, stay in LA. Why not run it back in Los Angeles? They were heating up towards the end of the year. He was settling in as the third scoring option. Reeves and Luka were trading 30 burgers. Luka, in particular, averaged like 35 in the month of March, something ridiculous. He gets hurt against OKC as they surged all the way to the 3 seed in the Western Conference. They go like 500 to end the year without Luka. Then they play the Rockets, and LeBron dominates that series. Rui Hachimura shoots 60% from 3. Marcus Smart shoots 50% from 3. No Austin Reeves in that series. No Kevin Durant either for the Rockets. But it's a really impressive series by the Lakers, and then they get swept by the Thunder with that, and the Thunder are always going to sweep them because the Thunder are the best team in the league. Why not just run it back in LA? And there's one person in the league that should care more about what LeBron James Jr. or LeBron James does than any player in the NBA this offseason. That is LeBron James. That's Bronny James. Because if LeBron stays in LA, that locks up Bronny there for another year at least. And who knows what Bronny's future is post LeBron James in the NBA. And I'm rooting for Bronny. If you're not rooting for Bronny, you're kind of an asshole. You got to be a prick. You're a next level dickhead if you're not rooting for Bronny. I want Bronny to be good at that. Like I want him to be a good 15-year in the league NBA vet, maybe like a Danny Green type of arc where he's contributing some really electric minutes in the NBA finals, some really good clutch moments. So like I want Bronny James to have an incredible. I want Bronny James to be the GOAT, quite frankly. If he can be better than his dad, imagine that. That'd be sick. Why are you gonna obviously that's not gonna happen. I'm not saying it's gonna happen before you sprint to the comments and be like, this guy's a fucking idiot. That's not gonna happen. But I don't know why you're not rooting for Bronny. You should be rooting for Bronny. I want him to have a long career. But the reality of the situation, is he going to? Is he going to? And he's already made enough money. He is the son of LeBron James. He's inheriting hundreds of millions of dollars, probably $1 billion. If LeBron James sold all of his assets, you don't think he's sniffing $1 billion? I don't know. Let's look up LeBron James' career earnings right now, just in the NBA alone. Like, is LeBron James a billionaire? LeBron James career earnings. $581 million in NBA salary alone. $581 million in NBA salary alone. That's not endorsement deals. That's not the shoe line that he has. That's not whatever other fucking. I'm sure he's got the greatest business advisors on the fucking planet, right? I'm sure he's got close to $1 billion net worth. I wouldn't be surprised. Like Bronny James could do whatever the fuck he wants the rest of his life. And I'm sure he wants to play basketball. So I hope he stays in the league. LeBron returning to LA would probably guarantee that Bronny stays in the league one more year. And I want that to happen. I want them to play together. I want them to play like meaningful minutes together too. And not just this. They played a little bit, but it wasn't like I want them to be on the floor together for like 30 minutes a night. Like that's what I want to see. But the Lakers are going to have a lot of holes this offseason. Marcus Smart has a player option. DeAndre Ayton has a player option. Austin Reeves has a player option. And if they don't extend Austin Reeves, he'd be stupid to decline the option and go test the market. He would be stupid if they don't extend him because he would get a bag somewhere for sure. So they have a lot. Rui Hachimura is a free agent. So they have a lot of roster turnover. The Lakers do. It's definitely not a team like if he's trying to ring chase. The Lakers are probably not a good team. And how bad do the Lakers want to bring back LeBron? Like they have Luka, start building around him now. And I don't know if Austin Reeves is part of that. Like you can't have a backcourt of Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves and make a far run in the finals because of the liability that both of those guys are on the defensive side of the basketball. Like look at all of the teams remaining. Most of them have really solid defensive players. Like the Spurs and the Thunder are the two best defensive teams in the NBA. The Pistons were Asar Thompson's the best defender in the NBA in my opinion right now, besides Wemby obviously, best wing defender. And the Pistons had like the best perimeter defense in the NBA this season. The Cavs have a defensive player of the year. Their wing defenders aren't like elite. They're probably the worst defensive team remaining in the playoffs. And the T-Wolves have so much versatility defensively and a 4-time defensive player of the year and Rudy Gobert on their roster. So you need good defense in the modern NBA in order to make like sustained runs unless you're the Denver Nuggets. But the Denver Nuggets had like Bruce Brown, Christian Brown. Aaron Gordon's a terrific defender. Like their defense when Aaron Gordon's on the floor and when Aaron Gordon's not on the floor is night and day, and they were able to win a championship. Like unless you have a really transcendent offensive generational piece surrounded by a bunch of role players that are clicking at the right time, you need to have elite defensive players to have sustained success in the playoffs in the NBA. And we're seeing that with the Thunder. We're going to see that now with the Spurs for the next few years. The Celtics, when they won it, were one of the best defensive rated teams in NBA history that year. So like you need good defense in the league, and Luka and Austin Reeves, that is just a travesty of a defensive backcourt. Now it worked when Luka and Kyrie also not great defenders, but it worked when you had Daniel Gafford, Derek Lively, PJ Washington, like good supporting defensive players. The Lakers don't have that right now. So they got to start building this roster, but I don't know if LeBron James is part of that future for the Lakers because Luke was not getting any younger, man. He's like 20. He's got plenty of time, but still. Number 4, though, I have the Houston Rockets. LeBron and Kevin Durant in 2027 would be absolutely electric, ladies and gentlemen. That would be box office, and I think they would contend. I'm not kidding. I think they would contend. KD had another terrific scoring season. He might hate his teammates, which is a little bit of a problem, but they have Fred VanVleet on a player option. If he returns, he can run the point. Even if he, and they were desperately missing somebody that can like run the offense. If Fred VanVleet doesn't return, point guard Brown. Just have LeBron running the point. Why not him? Point forward Brown. And then you've got a starting 5 then in this scenario. Fred VanVleet, Amen Thompson, LeBron James, Kevin Durant, Alperen Sengun. That's nasty. That's fucking nasty. I don't care. LeBron and KD are both fossils. That's nasty. And then you have Steven Adams, Reed Shepard, Jabari Smith has some depth pieces, Clint Capella, Tari Eason. That's pretty good. That's a good squad. That is a really, really good squad. And the way their roster is constructed, I'm not ready to throw a max contract at Alperen Sengun. I'm pretty sure he's eligible for one. Amen Thompson, I'm not ready to throw a max contract at that guy yet. I think he might be eligible for one as well. I probably would. No, I wouldn't. I would not. He needs to shoot. He needs a shot. But still, I like the shooting would still be a little bit of a concern here. But LeBron can shoot the 3. Durant can shoot the 3. Lockham and Thompson in the gym with his brother Asar. Fred VanVleet can shoot the 3 a little bit. So it's like there'll be a better shooting basketball team with Fred VanVleet healthy if he doesn't decline the player option and they bring in LeBron James. And then LeBron and KD would just be nasty for ratings. Like Adam Silver needs to make that happen. I'm not done with the Rockets. I think if they were in the Eastern Conference, they would be contending in the East forever. But it's just in the West right now, it's hard to bet against a team that is not OKC or San Antonio for the foreseeable future. But the Rockets do have a really solid young core. I've kind of cooled on Alperen Sengun a little bit. He hasn't quite taken the jump I expected him to take. And Amen Thompson as well needs a little bit of a jump shot. Jabari Smith hasn't really panned out. Reed Shepard, I still believe in, but he's going to be a problem defensively throughout the entirety of his career. Undersized guard, not the most athletic guy, but he is a sniper from 3. It's just there's a lot of moving pieces and a lot of uncertainty with the young core in Houston that you just don't get from the young cores in OKC and San Antonio. So it looked like Houston was an emerging, young powerhouse. I don't think that's the case anymore. And even after the Kevin Durant trade, it was like, okay, they still have a pretty good young core. I don't know if it's that good. I don't know if the young core is pretty good. Like comparative to the teams in the Western Conference, it's not. So why not go all in with the LeBron James, and that'd be great for ratings. Number 3, this would be fucking diabolical, ladies and gentlemen. LeBron James to the San Antonio Spurs. And it makes a lot of sense, too, when you look at their roster construction. Wemby's getting an extension this offseason. Vassell, Keldon Johnson, both eligible. Julian Champagnie, also eligible for an extension. De'Aaron Fox on a max contract until 2031. I would get that guy off the fucking books, bro. I would get that contract off the books, and you'd probably, depending on the package you get for him, if there's a suitor, you can re-sign Vassell, re-sign Johnson, re-sign Champagnie, and you still have some roster, and you still have some room to bring LeBron James, and you can make LeBron James' contract structured in a way that by the time you have to extend, even if it's a 1-year deal, that's fine because you have to send Castle next year. But even that, like if you structure in a way where he's out the year before you have to give Dylan Harper a max contract, and I think Dylan Harper will be a max contract player. He's fucking disgusting. He's a rookie, by the way. He's just cooking. Free up De'Aaron Fox, free up a lot of money, get Wemby on the max, and then bring in LeBron for a couple of seasons, extend Castle, extend Harper in a few years, but go all in now. Might as well LeBron James as a third scoring option. And I feel like De'Aaron Fox's might just limit Dylan Harper's ascension. Like he might limit his development because he's not going to be on the floor as the primary ball handler as much as long as De'Aaron Fox is there. And we know what De'Aaron Fox is at this point in his career. Dylan Harper's ceiling is higher, objectively, because he's younger and he's electric. So if I'm the Spurs, you could be looking at a starting five next season, hypothetically, or you could even retain De'Aaron Fox and bring in LeBron James, but you'd probably lose a Vassell, a Johnson, or a Champagne, and you probably don't want to lose many. Like, those guys are nice, great, solid depth role players, right? You know, you don't want to lose those guys. But you could, hypothetically, keep those guys, keep De'Aaron Fox, and then bring in LeBron James, and you have a starting five of, like, LeBron, Castle, Harper, Wemby, and LeBron. That's disgusting. If you lose Fox, it's probably Harper, Castle, LeBron, Champagne, Wemby, Johnson, and Vassell off the bench. And that would be A-okay as well. So, like, they are in a really, really good spot. That LeBron to the Spurs makes too much fucking sense to me. I feel like their wings are probably the weakest part. Like, they have so much depth. Like, their wings are fine, but it's like, it's not like their best players are their guards and then Wemby, right? That would be gross. That would be gross. And they have the roster flexibility to make a move like that. But either way, it's like, what is the market for LeBron going to be? How much money is he going to be? Like, is he after fucking that? He's not. No way. Like, he's after role player money. And if I'm him, I'm taking a bet minimum and just fucking ring chasing at any team I want. I think any team would take LeBron James at a bet minimum. Bro. Any fucking team. Why wouldn't he do that and just go ring chase? Number two, he would have to do this potentially is the Golden State Warriors. Imagine LeBron James and Steph Curry back at it, bro. Draymond has a player option this offseason. So that's definitely a moving piece here. And I would assume he was taking it. I don't know why he wouldn't. But the funniest thing on the planet would be if the Warriors traded Draymond Green for, I don't even know. You'd probably have to give a team an extra pick for them to acquire Draymond Green. That's not true. You could trade Draymond Green somewhere, and I'm sure he would bring value to some roster. Like, I don't even know. I'll take him as a Nets fan, just as a culture guy. I would take him. I'm not kidding. But you trade Draymond Green to make enough money where the money works and you can bring in LeBron James. And then they would have a core of 42-year-old LeBron James, 37-year-old Jimmy Butler, and 38-year-old Steph Curry. And I think they would actually have a chance to fucking contend. I do. I genuinely do think that. And I'm a sick man for thinking that. But you're putting Steph Curry and LeBron James on the same team with Jimmy Butler, who, coming off the injury, who knows? But Jimmy Butler's a fucking dog, bro. He's a dog. He is a dog. And they have a pretty decent pick where they could get another guy. Potentially. And then it's Pods and Al Horford. Maybe a Tobias Harris free agency, something. But they are in cap hell, so I'd be interested to see how the money would work. That would be nasty. LeBron and Steph, dude. Bring it to me. I want it all. I want it all. LeBron, Steph, and Jimmy Butler. That'd be must-see TV. And if they could pull it off, that would be the greatest thing in sports history, one of them. Like, that'd be nasty. And at number one, this is obvious, bro. This is obvious. It's the Cleveland Cavaliers. The only problem is the Cavs can't afford it. They would need him on a ridiculous hometown discount, and I think LeBron should do it. They have everyone under contract. Mobley and Mitchell on max deals. Harden eating up a lot of money. He's on a player option as well, so he could come back. He could not. We'll see. I do think that LeBron would be an upgrade from Harden right now, even though Harden is a little bit younger. I don't care. I think LeBron would be an upgrade just for vibes. Number one, defensive ability, scoring, playmaking would be a drop-off for sure, but I think they would be fine without him. But if they can keep Harden, and you're looking at a starting five of Harden, Mitchell, Allen, Mobley, LeBron, are you fucking kidding me? And the biggest weakness for the Cavaliers this season, and that was evident in their regular season series against the Boston Celtics, was their wings. Dean Wade and Sam Merrill. That's what we're doing on the wing. That's their biggest need is LeBron James, and that would be the best victory or the best farewell tour in the history of sports. Bring Bronny with you too. Fuck it. Bring Bronny with you to Cleveland. I'm pretty sure he still has a house in Cleveland. Bring Bronny with you. You come win a championship in Cleveland as literally a role player, like a third or even fourth option, maybe even a fifth option some nights if the pick and roll is really working with Jared Allen. But you could also have nights where you're the number one off, like just play that minimum. I don't know if that's how it works. Like, I feel like if I'm Adam Silver and LeBron's just going, Like, the Cavs are up 3-2 right now on the Pistons. They make the Eastern Conference Finals, and then they get LeBron James on a vet minimum. Is that veto territory here? I feel like that's not crazy to say that. But either way, if I'm LeBron James, go victory tour, go farewell tour the way a GOAT does, the way the GOAT would, and that is by contending for a championship in the city that you brought a championship to after you abandoned them in 2009. The Cleveland Cavaliers are the number one landing spot this offseason for LeBron James. And if you have been listening to this podcast, you have known that I have been bullish on this move for so fucking long. And I think it could happen. I think it should happen. I think it's a layup. Go on a hometown discount. Go fill Cleveland's biggest need next offseason. And the Cavs are all in for a chip. And I think it's nice. I think it's solid. I think that starting five, you could say, would be the best in the NBA. Harden, Mitchell, LeBron, Mobley, Allen. What the fuck? That is ridiculous. Hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up button, turn on post notifs for more. I love you guys. If you're listening on Spotify or on the YouTube podcast version, let's talk about the game tonight, bro. Shout out Asar Thompson. I know the Pistons lost, but what Asar Thompson did in game 5 was genuinely some of the best single. Asar Thompson in game 5 might have had one of the best performances defensively I've seen out of a single player not named Victor Wembanyama in the playoffs in a very long time. It was unbelievable. I don't know how many steals he finished with, but he had like 5 in the first quarter. But it says he finished with 4, so I guess my stat is wrong. Felt like he was getting a hand on every single basketball. And then last play of regulation, he strips Donovan Mitchell, gets tripped by Jared Allen, obvious foul. They don't call it. They go into overtime, and the rest is history. But Asar Thompson can't shoot the basketball, hasn't given you much offensively. He is an absolute assassin. Glove, seatbelt, puts guys in cages on the defensive side of the ball. He should be Donovan Mitchell's primary defender the rest of the series. I don't see why they would switch that up and just trust the rest of these boys. Shout out Bickerstaff going with B-Ball Paul down the stretch instead of Jalen Duren. I thought that was a really smart move. Duren has just not been good in these playoffs. That's just the reality of the situation. He's only 22 years old. There's plenty of room to grow. I think if you're freaking out about Jalen Duren because he's having a bad playoffs, which he is, it's a little bit of an overreaction. It is his first playoff series as like a guy. You know, he was an all-star. He's only gotten better every single year. I'm sure he'll find his stride in the playoffs, but his play has been too insignificant for me to believe in the Detroit Pistons even a little bit the rest of the way. And I think they could still win the series. I don't think this series is over, although I did have Cavs in 7. These two teams are matched up so evenly. Detroit has only 1 win on the road in these playoffs. Cleveland hasn't lost at home in these playoffs. So that's definitely going to be an uphill battle in game 6, losing that home court advantage. Not ideal, but I believe in Cade Cunningham. I think Cade Cunningham can do it. 39 points, 60% from 3, 9 assists. He was terrific today for Detroit. He's been terrific for most of the playoffs. Didn't have a great game 4. What was his turnover numbers too here? He still had 6 turnovers, but again, he has the ball in his hands a shit ton. They're doubling every time. Like, it's going to happen. He does need to get the turnovers down, obviously, but he was terrific again. It's just James Harden had a terrific day. And I think he was showing up more defensively than a lot of people are going to give him credit for, especially in game 5. And then obviously Max Strus. What do you have? 8 threes? Let me look here. 6 for 8 from 3, 6 for 8 from the field, all 3-pointers, 8 rebounds. How many steals did he have? 1 steal, 1 block. Max Strus is the X factor. And if you are Cleveland, you need to win the games, or Max Strus is going to shoot 80% from 3. You can't squander those because they don't have a whole lot of depth. Like, Jalen Tyson was nasty at times for Cleveland in the regular season. What has he done in the fucking playoffs? Seriously. Has this guy even been a factor at all? Why is this not working? Well, my ESPN just glitched. But they need more out of Jalen Tyson. They need more out of the bench in general. And getting a performance like that from Max Strus is terrific. Dean Wade out here running laps, bro. Zero assists, 0 points, 0 field goal, 23 minutes, 6 rebounds. He's running laps. That's right. They need LeBron James. Need LeBron James. But either way, shout out to Cavs. James Harden was terrific tonight. Did he have a double-double? I feel like he was dropping dimes too. 8 rebounds, 6 assists. Jared Allen, 10 rebounds, 16 assists. Evan Mobley. It was just an all-around good team performance by Cleveland. I think their defense was really, really good. And they negated, like, they turned the ball over a gazillion times early in that game, and they were able to weather the storm of an elite defensive team that Detroit is. And Tobias Harris had some nice moments in this. What did Tobias have? He only had 13. Oh, never mind then. I thought he had a better day than that. I'm tripping sack. But either way, great win for Cleveland, especially with all the turnovers they had early. Like, it was just such a like, Detroit was cooking up the perfect game, and it just wasn't enough. I think they got fucked on that last play. I think Asarg obviously got fouled, but you get in overtime, put up some buckets. They didn't do that. And I'll tell you this, I'll leave you guys with this, man. Before T-Wolves, Spurs, everybody is counting out Anthony Edwards way too early. We have this guy, Nerd Sesh, who I'm a fan of Nerd Sesh, but he's talking about Thunder OKC already. He's like, yeah, this is going to be the first installment of what is going to be an epic decade-long series matchup in the playoffs between the Spurs and the Thunder, and I don't disagree with him. But Anthony Edwards is still breathing here, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to write that guy off. Game 6 is in Minnesota. You're going to write that guy off? Are you fucking crazy? Go ask the Denver equipment staff what he said to them when he was down 3-2 against Denver after Game 5. Go ask what he said to those guys. And then go ask what happened to Nikola Jokic in Game 7. Let's not sleep on Mr. Anthony Edwards now, ladies and gentlemen. Next time you listen to me talk about the NBA, there's a chance that Anthony Edwards upset Victor Wembanyama. I'm not sleeping on him. I'm not. This series is not over. As long as Anthony Edwards has air in his lungs and and is not eliminated from contention, there's a fucking chance, man. So I said T-Wolves in 7. I said Cavs in 7. I said Thunder in 4. And I'll tell you what, all of these series might be panning out. Besides, I also said Sixers in 7, but we're not going to talk about that. Really, really huge couple of days remaining in the NBA playoffs, man. I'm excited for it. Should be a lot of fun. Don't sleep on Anthony Edwards. I love you guys. Hit that subscribe button. I'll talk to you guys later. I'll talk to you guys in the next episode of the Fire Sports Takes podcast.